Is it Alou, Francois? Cynthia! Big Mike. Look at us. We're all learning French. Okay, Cynthia, here we go. Do 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 do. Bonjour. And do 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 do. Okay, we've got that out of the way. Francois, I got your email, so I'm gonna play this for you. Well, I'll play it for everybody. Okay, but all right. Welcome back. I have a surprise race here that doesn't fit what I've been telling you. Okay, this is the second race at Tampa Bay, and I bet $100 on the 4-horse. Now you see the win percentage is 23%. Why the hell would I bet $100 on this horse? Well, because of the jockeys, because of the track. Sometimes you just know, and as you move along, you'll be able to get out of that 31% hole, or not hole, but 31% main gift. So 25% on the 1. Why didn't I bet that horse? Because the jockey is Melissa Iora. Okay. Nothing against women. There have been some fantastic women jockeys. Don't get me wrong, and don't call me sexist. It's not that. I just know the jockey. Okay. She tries. The 2 is 13%. The 3 is 8%. The 4 is 23%. 6, 14%. And the 7, 15%. I don't want you doing this. I'm just going to give you an example. Okay. Sometimes you can get out of that box of 31% if you know what to look for. Okay. So, as you can see, I put $100 on the 4. And surprise, I won. But this is our claiming 6 furlong race. So, let's watch the race.
Gonzalez to the outside draw. Goes in. They're in the gate. And the race is on. Caught him at a pretty good line. Zip Code Envy, the favorite, pushed for early speed. Also sent hard. His top look down to the inside. These two are quickest in the early going. Get the Let Out was away in third. Wheeling and dealing toward the inside fourth. Then comes She's a Joy. It's 2 more back to Band Sweetheart, who works over toward the inside. As Zip Code Envy and top look hook up in the early going. Those two run to the half-mile pole. 3 lengths ahead of Get the Let Out. Wheeling and dealing is fourth. Band Sweetheart, She's a Joy. The trailers 5 lengths front to back as there's a battle on up top. 23 seconds the opening quarter mile. Zip Code Envy, top look, holding that rail position. Wheeling and dealing makes a bit of a move here. Here's Wheeling and dealing now up to third. Get the Let Out, fades back to fourth. Now 4.5 off the top. Band Sweetheart trying to run through toward the inside. And then on the outside is She's a Joy. They come around.
All right, I want to stop right here and look at the jockey on the 4. He has a tight hold on that horse. Okay. Meaning he has not let that horse go yet. So let's play it.
Get the Let Out, fades back to fourth. Now 4.5 off the top. Band Sweetheart.
Now you notice the other jockeys, their hands are going forward and backwards pretty fast. But you notice that the jockey on the 4 is, for all intents and purposes, his ass is up in the air. Okay. And he also is not moving his hands. He's got a tight grip on that horse. That's going to indicate the horse still has a lot to go.
Sweetheart trying to run through toward the inside, and then on the outside is She's a Joy. They come around to the quarter pole. Zip Code Envy hasn't had much of a breather. Top Look has been pushing that one, but Zip Code Envy's traveling well. Zip Code Envy to the top of the stretch, now clear by 2. Wheeling and Dealing going to switch to the outside. Top Look still battling on along the rail. Band Sweetheart's made up some ground. Zip Code Envy at the furlong pole. Zip Code Envy in front by 2 to Wheeling and Dealing. Then comes Top Look and Band Sweetheart. Zip Code Envy still there. Wheeling and Dealing dives to the inside, but it's too late. Zip Code Envy and Sammy Camacho, the favorite, wins it by 3.5, 4 in the end. Wheeling and Dealing was second. Third went to Top Look. Fourth, Band Sweetheart. And fifth, She's a Joy.
Now, there was a jockey change in this, okay? Sammy Camacho. Sammy Camacho is an excellent jockey. And you can see, well, I did it previously. Ken, what's his name, was on the horse. But they had a last-minute jockey change to Sammy Camacho. That alerted me, okay? Ken Tohill. If Ken was on this horse, I would have never bet it, okay? But the horse ran away, right? Sammy Camacho. So you'll be able to determine these things as you go along. Right now, stick to the 31%. And there's the woman jockey. Nothing against the female jockeys. There have been some excellent ones throughout the years. Okay, nothing, it's not sexist or anything like that. Okay, female jockeys, they win big a lot of times. But for this race, I just knew. So I threw $100 on him. Came back $190. So I won $90 in, what was the time? A minute 11, 71 seconds. Okay. And you'll be able to figure this out as you go along. But stick with the 31%, $2 show bets until you get used to this. And as you go along, I've been doing this since 13 years old. Okay. So once you get used to it and you get familiar with the jockeys, the trainers, what to look for in the horse, look at the muscles on this horse. Beautiful horse. Beautiful. And you also notice the tail is tied. They'll do that on sloppy and really muddy tracks. They'll tie the tail, and that's all that means. But I did want to show you this race because it's out of the... Okay, Francois, you asked me the question about the box, right? So, and I think I know what you mean. Let me see where it is. There. Okay. Do you mean the gate? Right here? Coming out of the gate? How did they determine which horse gets in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc.? It's a draw. They draw. Yeah. They draw positions. And who's going to get that position? And that's, yeah, I know a lot of jockeys. Okay, so I wanted to show that because it's out of the norm. And sometimes I'll do that, during the day. I'll just see something and, like I said, throw 100 on it. Okay. Oh. We have some really great news, haven't we, today? Israel hostages being released. Imagine that. And we also have some more wonderful news.
Palestinians in Gaza celebrated as a ceasefire deal finally took effect on Sunday morning after a nearly 3-hour delay. The sound of singing and cheering replaced that of fighting and bombing of the 15-month-old war that has devastated the enclave and brought seismic political change to the.
Oh, isn't that something? Isn't that something? Let me see. What is it? Tomorrow, Trump gets in. It's already starting. And you can see it around the world. Hostages being released that Biden could never get, right? Holman's going to go full force on Chicago starting tomorrow. So a lot of these criminal immigrants that have taken over apartment complexes by gunpoint, taking hostages themselves. And this is New York City as well, and Denver, you know. So a lot of things changing already. Okay. Because they know what's going to happen, right? When Trump gets in there. They're not going to mess around. So
with all those
okay.
people they inside.
So I wanted to show this. We've seen this before. Yeah, Big Mike. Oh yeah. It's already started. Yeah. How long has it been since they have held hostages? One day before Trump gets in, and then there's a ceasefire in Gaza. Imagine that. Yeah. And Holman, he's coming to Chicago tomorrow or the day after. Okay. So big change is coming up. It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. Oh, good grief, Governor of California. Like it wasn't bad enough already. I'm sorry, but Democrats have ruined most of this country. Hello, status quo. Good to see you. But here at the caucus, I want to start this out. Prelude to disaster. Okay. Here we have Dwayne Muhammad. Okay.
With all those people they inside, and they started all that crap with me. You were standing right next to me.
I don't know that about that.
Standing right.
Valeria Stubbs, right? So we've got Valeria Stubbs and Dwayne Muhammad at the caucus.
Right next to me.
No.
Is that a fact?
Boom. Right there. Okay. Wyoming. Very good to see you. Very good to see you. Why am I showing Stubbs and Muhammad? Well, because they made a train wreck of everything, didn't they, when they were in office? One term. So we're going to take a look at this.
Agenda is
Napoleon Harris doesn't need to hire a campaign staff because he will get free labor from Dolton. You know, insurance. But the red wave is coming across America. And not even America, the world. You know, he's not even in the Oval Office yet. Ceasefire in Gaza. Release of hostages already. Holman's coming into Chicago and cleaning that shit up. Most definitely. But we're going to watch this. Oh, Big Mike. We're trying. Do you have it on accept memberships? Do you have that? I'm not sure. Let me know if you have that setting, and maybe somebody can help you make sure that you have that setting. Do you have a Cash App? I'll send you the money. Okay, so I think this is 2018. We need to get Brandon John. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Definitely. I mean, these Democrats, and I'm sorry, whoops. I'm sorry to all the Democrats in the room, but look at the mess that they make. Backdoor deals, commingling of funds. Yeah, status quo. Changes are coming. So, this is prelude to disaster. Because 4 trustees, Dwayne Muhammad, Valeria Stubbs, you just saw them at the caucus. Valeria Stubbs is running for trustee for the township. Okay. So, Deborah Denton and Robert Pearson. Is Robert Pearson still with us? I don't know. If he's not, rest in peace. Wait, seriously? What, Big Mike? What happened? Horse racing. Orange Eagle would be a timely horse. It would. Potato! How is Mrs. Potato? And what did you have for dinner? Oh, yes, Big Mike. For Thornton Township. Kenneth, so good to see you. Yeah. So, if you want this train wreck in Thornton Township, you can have it. Because we're going to see what people think of Dwayne Muhammad and Valeria Stubbs, who are both at the caucus. I just showed that. Okay. Muhammad, what are you doing hanging around? And you had a badge on you. I noticed that too. Okay, here we go.
Is Finance Trustee Muhammad.
Thank you, Mayor. I have 2 reports, one short and the other quite extensive. If I can get you, Mr. Kemp, to approach the microphone, and I'll introduce you after I read the first report from Mrs. Redmond. If you would, Mr. Kemp, the microphone. Finance report, September 4th, 2018. The amended fiscal year 2019 budget was passed on Friday, August 10th. The Finance Department is working.
Well, that figures, doesn't it, Big Mike? These people, I don't know. Did the vote go through? If it did, I missed it. I know they were doing the back and forth, with trying to get candidates kicked off the ballot. I haven't heard about the seat being filled yet. These 3, well, Denton is just deer in headlights and does what she's told. These 3 are train wrecks, and if you allow them in the Thornton Township, and this is my opinion, by what I have seen, by their actions, you get what you deserve.
With the Finance Committee and independent financial advisor, Marlo Kemp, to have a balanced budget. The due date for the second installment property tax bill was Wednesday, August 1st. As of August 31st, we have received $7,146,187.36 of the $9,600,000. Let me say that second number again. Of the $9,645,831.70 bills extended. This represents a collection rate thus far of 74%. The Finance Department and Attorney Murphy are in communication with the City of Chicago, which I'll go into detail on my second part of this report, to resolve our water bill challenges. The next meeting before the judge is scheduled for Thursday, September 20th, 2018. Our auditors, Lauterbach and Amon, will be on site for audit fieldwork September 17th through the 28th. The purpose of the visit is to complete the fiscal year 18 audit, in which we are striving for another unqualified opinion. And before I go into my second report, Mr. Kemp, I wanted you up here to state your observations and analysis thus far that you've helped this village in a voluntary capacity to see where we're at now and where we need to go. Mr. Kemp, at the microphone, please.
Thank you, Trustee. I have been working since the last meeting with Trustee Muhammad, Ms. Redmond, and Trustee House, taking a look at the budget and seeing where there were opportunities and things like that. I met with...
This guy's a dumbass. Absolute dumbass. You mean to tell me that this guy is working for free giving financial advice? No.
Ms. Redmond via telephone. We went over the proposed budget. Part of the issue is that there are a lot of things in the budget that are contractually obligated, and because they are contractually obligated, they cannot be eligible for cuts. What that does mean, though, is that of the things that remain, there actually has to be a higher percentage of those things cut if you are to have a balanced budget. So one of the issues that had come up is a bond issue that could then be used to cover at least $900,000 of the current gap, which would then give you $900,000 on the revenue side. Initially, there was still approximately a $448,000 gap. Going through the revenues with Ms.
Big Mike, I'm on TV. Ooh.
Redmond, we were able to conclude that some of the revenues for like refuse and things like that were a bit lower than they could have been. And so based on their past trends, we were able to effectively push those revenues upward. And so as a result, instead of having a $448,000 deficit, the deficit was down closer to $302,000. Then, so what the remaining issue is that there has to be a way to cover that particular gap. There are several options that are on the table. One is to increase the bond issue from $900,000 to $1.3 million, which would then balance the budget for this fiscal year. However, that $1.3 million carries with it a bit of risk because you have to be sure that you can find someone who will purchase the bonds. And so that's part of the issue. The other option is to stay at $900,000 and say we're going to cut our way to a balanced budget. And as I mentioned before, Ms. Redmond and I went through and looked and saw that some of these things, some of the things that would have been included in a larger overall cut had to be eliminated. So for example, you're not going to cut fuel because one, you don't know what the fuel costs are, and gasoline prices fluctuate. So what wound up happening is you have to take a higher percentage of a smaller amount. So you could get it all that way, or you could do what I like to call a hybrid, which is make some cuts and then increase, instead of increasing it by, from 900,000 to 1.3 million, maybe increase it to 1.1 million or some percentage in between. Part of the issue is that, even as we try to plan for this year's budget, you want to start looking long term and seeing how viable this can be going forward. And so a couple of the observations was that, one, you have a $1.3 million of your revenue or $900,000 of your revenue that is coming from tax anticipation notes. And unless we can somehow recover an additional $900,000, you'll be having to do tax anticipation notes going forward. The other observation is that $600,000 of your revenue is coming from the sale of the Dorchester, and that is a one-time deal. And so in subsequent years, you have to find a way to replace that $600,000 as well. And so what that all boils down to is, in the long term, you have somewhere between $1.5 to $2 million of revenue that we're going to have to find a way to stabilize in terms of being able to get it year after year, and that is going to be one of the challenges going forward.
Okay, did you have a question for him, trustee?
Thank you for that. Just wanted to kind of put a little bit more framework on there. We did have several meetings in the spirit of working together collectively as a board. Some of the estimations that were made, Mrs. Redmond, myself, are still in disagreement with the estimates. However, as a board and the majority, it was been voted that to move forward, and in the spirit of moving forward, we set some meetings to take a look at what the amended budget would look like. I think we had some very cordial discussions through the.
Look at how Stubbs is looking at Jason House. She is not liking what she's saying. He's saying. Spag, good to see you. 9 to 5. Okay, is that for the movie? Because I love that movie.
Disagreement. However, I would say I think I still hold the stance that the amendment is not necessary. I think I would again defer back to our finance director, who has stated that it's not necessary. And then also the proposed solution, as I'm hearing it, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is an increased bond. And my thought would be, if we're going to do an additional bond, I think we should do enough to cover the employees who work hard day to day in this village of Dolton, to make sure that we continue getting the service that we deserve.
Respond, if you could respond.
Yes.
So what's happening is 2018, I believe it was September, Wyoming. They're going to wipe out Riley Rogers' administration because they're vindictive little things.
I am not here to say what you can and cannot do. I'm simply saying, here's a look at the numbers, and here's what you kind of see, going forward. Historically, so the issue is that if you actually do a bond issue to try to cover the employees, then you're going to have to do that every year until you can somehow make up the revenue that it takes. Honestly, when I looked, I said, there are plenty of challenges that the village is facing right now from a fiscal standpoint, and that's not to be good or bad or negative. It's just when you look at the audits and things like that, that's just where we are, and somehow in order to kind of get it so that you can start stabilizing and get to a point of stability and then start to grow, that you're going to have to find a way to, for lack of a better word, wean ourselves off of the tax anticipation notes. That's not going to happen overnight. When I looked at the budgets and all of the audits and everything, my estimate is about 5 years or so.
I'm sorry. Hey, Dwayne, good to see you. Mouse Toes, you're safe. She's sleeping.
But you have to every year kind of make a little more incremental progress. I mean, some of that's going to come because of the natural, the 4.9% that you're allowed in the property taxes. Some of it may come in growth in other revenues, but really it kind of, the thing is, the tax anticipation notes cost you money too, just like it costs money for anybody to borrow money. And so these tax anticipation notes don't only cost the $900,000 or however much it is you borrow, they're also going to be charging interest. And so that's money then that can't be used to hire, policemen and everything else. What it does kind of point to, though, is one of the things that I would recommend is that you do kind of like a 3 to 5 year forecast, not necessarily year-to-year budget. It's certainly your year-to-year budget is going to be the most important document, but a 3 to 5 year forecast so that you could actually kind of paint with very broad strokes like what kind of money you're going to be needing in the future. And of course, as you get closer to those time frames, you can actually begin to shape and take a look at and more accurately forecast things. But it would not be a bad idea at all to start out and say, where do we want to be 3 to 5 years from now, and what revenue sources do we have that will help us get to that particular point?
Okay. There are no other questions to Mr. Pimp. You can have a seat. Thank you so much. And I'll go to the last part of my report. Clerk, you have this for the record, and I want to read it publicly for the record as well. Tuesday, September 4th, 2018, Finance Report, Dwayne Muhammad, Finance Chairperson. On Monday, August 10th of this year, the trustees, along with the Finance Department, called for a special board meeting to pass the budget with amendments for fiscal year 2018-2019. The primary reason for the meeting was to go over every line item that there was on the budget to explain reductions, cuts, increases, and the dire financial situation of the Village of Dolton. Throughout the year, we as a board received warnings of monies running out by November of 2018. Assessments had to be made between our finance department and our auditors concerning an $8 million water bill owed to the city of Chicago, and how we will, the village, meet such a large bill brought on by a lawsuit from the city. Critical cuts in personnel and non-personnel related items had to be made. But all the cuts in the world will not help our budget unless there are also some other forms of revenue coming into our village. Many residents, when you hear of the budget, you may not think it is as important to keeping our streets cleaned, snow removal, the number of police officers patrolling our village, or getting the getting the street repaired on the very block you live on, where you have to weave in and out in order to avoid the potholes. All of these are related to our budget that affects every resident in Dolton. The budget of the Village of Dolton, what is it? We have a budget of approximately $18 million. What does that mean? Well, our budget is a statement of the financial position of an administration for a definite period of time, which is that 1 year that the Mr. Marlowe referred to, based on estimates of expenditures or expenses during that same period of proposals for financing them. In its simplest forms, it means this. We as a village collect approximately $18 million through taxes and fees. This means the monies the village collects to give services to you, the residents, cannot exceed $18 million. It's no different than what you do for your own household day to day. You have a budget based on your income, whether you're working or retired on a fixed income. Now, it was said from this dais on August 10th that I, Trustee Muhammad, don't have the qualifications to be the finance chairman, and that someone else should chair this committee. In finances, even understanding budgets, one can surely understand you can't be over a committee or finance, and your personal finances are not in order. You can't run a village or assist in running a village in a financial capacity if you have filed several bankruptcies, had your homes foreclosed upon, and have bad credit. I have none of these. I have good credit. My mortgage and bills are paid on time like many of you. You have to have intellectual curiosity when approaching any task and learning. It is not rocket science. You cannot spend more than the monies you are bringing in. You cannot bond or borrow monies to meet your financial obligations of an $18 million budget. This current budget shows a possible bond borrowed of over $1 million to meet our general obligations. This is not the way you run a village. This is not the way you run a corporation. Simply, it's like trying to pay your bills with a credit card with high interest. We, as a legislative body who have a fiduciary responsibility to you, the residents, cannot continue to borrow our way out of debt. Revenues must be increased in order to offset the deficit that has plagued this village for at least the last 5 years. We are still working on the budget, formulating cuts across the board. This means that all departments have to find ways to cut expenses unrelated to personnel cuts. We must bite the bullet and look for ways to reduce this deficit. A couple of department heads have come forward with some cost-saving measures, and every little bit helps. It is your tax dollars and the fees that you pay to this village that are used in the day-to-day operation of this village. On Monday, August 10th, there were many who came to these microphones pleading for one or two individuals to save their jobs. A budget, when it is drawn up, becomes law when it is passed by the trustees, by this board of trustees. It must be followed by everyone who lives in the village of Dolton. Though we currently have ordinance passed, and this mayor refuses to follow some of them, and the board has no choice but to take him to a judge, and the judge order him to abide by a duly voted on ordinance by a board of trustees. Just like you and I have to abide by the law, or we're subject to a fine or imprisonment in some cases. No one is above the law, not a trustee, not a clerk, and definitely not the mayor. If you, as a resident, are fined for an infraction based upon a resolution or an ordinance that's passed, so should an elected official be subject to a fine. No one is above the law. Now back to those who lobbied for certain employees not being let go for budgetary reasons. Not one person who was the proponent or advocate for those employees gave a solution to where will the monies come from by keeping these individuals on. Many charged us with this being a political move. This certainly was not political, and there were employees affected across the board. This budget passed by the board still faces a deficit in some.
Wow. Only 13 likes. Well, if you want to hear the dirt on Muhammad and Stubbs, hit the like button. Hit the dislike button. I don't care. Pause. Yes. Yes. And remember the fiasco mouse toes with that little strip party. Sly Robinson. Very good to see you. And do we have to do that little reminder? Kiki, so good to see you. Are the likes going up? Let me see. Let me check my screen. Oh, wrong screen. Oh, 22. We're going up. Okay. Yeah, they're in the bushes. They want to hear the dirt. They want the dirt. If you want the dirt, hit the like or get the hell out. I don't care. Yeah, only one term, but mouse toes. Stubbs is running for Thornton Township trustee, and Mohammed was at the caucus as well. So if you want this train wreck, please vote for them. Okay.
I think borrowing money to get us through the next year is a temporary solution. This budget, at least for the last 5 years, a bond was taken out to pay those bills. This is no way to run a corporation, which is what this is. We're government, yes, but we're also like a corporation with employees, insurance premiums to pay, taxes to the state and federal government, and many other expenses. The emotion has to be removed in the process of going through a budget of nearly 450 line items. There were charges of a personal nature hurled at me, and all were based on misinformation, half-truths, and outright lies. As finance chair and a trustee that is entrusted to look at our finances along with the mayor and staff, we as a collective must come up with solutions to the dire financial crisis that this village is currently in and has been in for some years. On advice of our legislative council, we have been afforded the opportunity to work with Mr. Marlo Kemp, who is a professional in the field of finance, accounting, and budgets. Mr. Kemp has volunteered his services to us and has no dog in this race and has given an objective analysis of our problem. Mr. Kemp met with Ms. Redmond, Trustee House, and myself concerning this budget. Mr. Kemp has made recommendations on this budget that I agree are the best route to take for fiscal responsibility to get us out of this hole that has taken years to dig. My suggestion to this board, and Mr. Kemp agrees, is to not manage this village always in crisis mode. We're coming up with a projection of a yearly budget. We have to be in the business of projecting 3 to 5 year budgets like many other municipalities does in managing their operations. In order to do this, our administration has to be disciplined in following the budget and keeping the department heads in line on staying on budget in their respective departments. But we must get cooperation from the mayor's office as we have gotten from staff such as Ms. Redmond. The mayor has been absent in this process and offers no real solution to our financial issues. He says he will not get involved because anything he suggests will be shot down. This type of rhetoric is unacceptable. All hands should be on deck, giving whatever input they have in making this village a financially sound village.
He never shuts up, does he? He never does.
Politics have to be removed in this process. The finger pointing must end and a cooperative effort must replace tribal politics and dividing this village with innuendos, half-truths, and in many cases, outright lies. As a board, we must come together to solve the issues of this village, but we welcome the mayor's input as well. This must be a team effort. It's not about taking the power away from one individual. The current president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, said, "Only I alone."
Order!
I absolutely love his reference to Donald Trump, who will be president of the United States tomorrow. All of a sudden, hostages are being released. Gaza, peace treaty. He's not even in office. Holman coming to Chicago to clean up the dirt. So I'm glad you're laughing at Trump, because I got to tell you, there's going to be some surprises coming to Illinois.
Only
Order!
I was thinking today, Twain must have voted for him.
the current president of the United States, Donald Trump, said, "Only I."
Order!
The current president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, said, "Only I alone can solve the problems of the United States." And we all agree, as the crowd states, that's not true. Congress serves as a check and balance for the executive branch of government, which is the president. And we, the Board of Trustees, a legislative body, is the check and balance for the executive branch of government here in Dolton, which is our president, Mayor Riley Rogers. We ask that the politics stop and the solving of problems. We ask that the politics stop and the solving of problems, such as the financial condition of this village, be given a priority. Serious issues face this village in the way of the billing of water to our residents. Serious issues face this village in the way of billing of water to our residents. A laser-like focus has to be on the water department to get that department in order. I'm sure we all agree that monthly billing will help to solve this issue, along with fixing the problem of errant billing that has gone on for years. If it's a software problem, fix it. If it's a personnel problem, fix it. Attention must be put on departments that are causing hardship for our residents concerning wrong billings and having qualified persons in departments that will make this a more professionally run village. We have to look at the contracts between the village and the unions that cause large amounts of overtime that goes into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is not to say that the village is taking on an anti-union stance. I myself was a union man for over 20 years, and I truly understand the benefits of belonging to a union. And some of those areas that we as a village must renegotiate in order to have the best position with the unions that are contracted with our village. There cannot be an abuse of contracts where the village suffers financially. We are not in the strong financial position we were years ago with our unions. I have heard myself in the past the following words: I hope we can meet payroll this week. These are words that should never be uttered from those who see revenue coming into the village in an anemic state. Lastly, our water bill owed to the city of Chicago. This is a serious situation that must be addressed. At our last special board meeting, I asked our village attorney, John Murphy, to explain the importance of the relationship of payment to the city of Chicago from the village of Dolton. We have had at least 2 meetings in downtown Chicago in the Daly Center with the attorneys of the city of Chicago, the judge overseeing this case, and 2 finance persons representing the city. Representing Dolton in these meetings were Ms. Redmond of the Finance Department, Attorney Murphy, Trustee Pearson, and myself, Trustee Muhammad. Mayor Rogers did not appear at any of these hearings or meetings. $8.3 million is owed to the city of Chicago in arrearages. The attorney explained to the public that the tax levy has to be raised in order to meet the obligation of about $810 million to be paid to the city over the next possible 10 years. This is money that could go to the improvement of streets, cutting down and trimming of trees, bringing business to the community that relies heavily on real estate taxes from you and me, the resident. Again, it has to be a team effort from all elected officials in solving these most important financial issues. $8 million is nothing to sneeze at. Paying over $800,000 a year on top of our current water usage is no laughing matter. Now, I'm the messenger of bad news, but I'm also giving you a message of truth. I may not be looked at favorably by you in delivering hard truths. I will work on delivering my message to you, which can come off as harsh and biting. It is not my intent. I think it was Reverend Jesse Jackson that said, God is not through with me yet. I think it was Reverend Jesse Jackson that said, God is not through with me yet. I agree. I am a work in progress. All of us have fallen short of the glory of God. None of us are perfect. No, not one. I'll say that again. All of us have fallen short of the glory of God. None of us are perfect. No, not one. We tend to be impatient with each other, and that's okay. I've come to deal with that as an elected official. Continue to call me as you have done. My cell phone is published on the website. Stop me on the streets and in the places you see me around town. Continue to encourage me to give the good fight. Critique me and tell me where I need to improve, because I'm not above your critique of me. And tell me where I need to improve, because again, I'm not above your critique of me. And know that I come to this position as a servant for the people of my community. This is not my livelihood as a trustee. It is a temporary position that you, the voting residents of Dolton, chose me to do a job. In doing this job, I know it doesn't make everyone happy. Let me read that again. It is a temporary position that you, the voting residents of Dolton, chose me to do a job. In doing this job, I know it doesn't make everyone happy. I'm a resident just like you. I love Dolton. I see the great potential of Dolton. I see the great potential of its residents as I talk to you on a regular basis. Don't judge me by these cameras and the editing of cameras. Now one has been placed less than 10 feet from me and edited to show me in a light that is not me. Some of you have said the camera close to me shows me sitting improperly. I'll say that again. Some of you have said the camera close to me shows me sitting improperly. Know that I have had back issues for years and have recently had back surgery. And anyone who has had back surgery knows that you can never get comfortable sitting in most chairs. But ask the question, why was the second camera placed? Again, politics. Nasty, mean-spirited politics. It was one of my great mentors, Mayor Harold Washington of Chicago, who said, politics ain't beanbag. Politics is a rough and tumble game. I don't have the stomach for disrespecting each other. I wasn't raised that way. I'll say it again. I don't have the stomach for the disrespect of each other. I wasn't raised that way. I was brought up to speak truth to power. I'll say it again. I was brought up to speak truth to power. And this budget, you must know the truth of it. It's not just numbers on paper. It is dollars, lives, debt, revenue, bonds, expenditures, and a host of things that will cause this village to grow, and if not monitored, will cause this village to suffer like other towns that you've witnessed that are close to our borders. Let's come together as a legislative body and an executive body to bring Dolton up out of the dire finances that we face as a community of problem solvers and not dividers of the people. Thank you, Mayor. That's the end of the finance report.
Okay. Please, a moment of silence for everyone who had to go through that. Let us pray. Dear Lord in heaven. Oh, look at where I paused it. Oh my God. These are the people that are going to take over the township, right?
Well, since since half of that speech was about me, I'm gonna agree with one thing that you did say. That's a temporary position. We got 8 months to deal with you. Next thing is special events trustee Henry.
I don't even know how to come behind that. Okay, I'm gonna be brief, you guys.
6,729.
Yeah.
I was going to mention that.
Yeah. I was gonna have the chief do it, but if you want to do it, all right. Okay. Next thing on the agenda is corporate bills.
I make a motion to pay the corporate bills of corporate payments register 126 of $671,701.44 with a gross payroll of $374,150.44 with the Melanie Fitness Center of $6,729.31
For 5-star outstanding.
$4,651.19. Second.
Agenda is corporate bills.
I make a motion to pay the corporate bills of corporate payments register 126 of $671,701.44 with a gross payroll of $374,150.44 with the Melanie Fitness Center of $6,729.31 with a gross payroll of $2,070 with the total corporate payments of $1,054,651.19. Second.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been motion and second to pay the corporate bills as stated. Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor.
Go ahead.
I had asked Ms. Redmond for a copy of those invoices for the $50,000 that was paid out for sidewalks and the street expansions. So that's the only thing that I really had a question about, and I would like to see them before I vote to pay the corporate bills, with the exception of 5-star. That's
Okay.
on page 5.
What is the total amount on line?
Page 8, I'm sorry.
Page 8 for 5-star outstanding. Hello? What is the total amount on page 8 that's outstanding to be paid?
That amount is $50,175.
So none of those invoices have been paid?
That's not the question.
Muhammad is always telling Stubbs what to say. Have you noticed that? Loud Room reacts. How are you? Good to see you. Dwayne, did I say hello to you? I'm sorry if I didn't. Oh.
No, I didn't say I didn't want to pay them. I say I would like to see those invoices before I vote to pay them.
Okay, that's your prerogative to not vote to advance the payment. So,
Mayor, may I speak, Mayor?
go ahead.
Maybe we could remove that amount and pay the rest of the corporate bills, and once we get copies, and we could look and see what that's about, we could take a phone consensus to pay that amount once the trustees want to weigh in on it.
Yes. Can I be recognized, Mayor?
Not everybody might do that.
Oh, thank you so much, Big Mike. I appreciate each and every one of you, and you know it. I truly do. We have got to get you that membership, though. We're trying hard.
Okay, go ahead, trustee.
Yeah, these questions that the trustees have put forth, I did bring these to Ms. Redmond this morning. Actually, there were a total of 10. One of them actually being the Chicago water payment that we paid. I think last month it was over $100,000, and why it wasn't on the warrant list. And for the edification of the trustees, the reason why it wasn't on the warrant list because the billing that we receive from the city of Chicago is usually after the warrant list is published. The other question the trustees have that
Okay. Question for the room. Who talks more, Muhammad or Henyard? Muhammad thinks he is the smartest person in the room, like somebody else said in the chat. Oh, for Pete's sakes. Yeah. Oh, Lord.
I'll just represent, it was the Avalon Petroleum. And Mayor, if you can answer that, that would be helpful. But she informed me, and we do have department heads here now, and they can chime in, that the Avalon Petroleum system that was installed a year or two ago, we wanted to know what is the monitoring on that. In other words, the gasoline that's being taken out of those tanks for the use of the village vehicles, is it still being monitored, whereas personal vehicles are not being filled up with gas? Vehicles that are taken home on personal use are not being unused. So she's not here. She was getting that information from the department head. So Mayor, if you could chime in, or any other department heads can give us the answer to that question on what is the monitoring of the Avalon Petroleum that's pumped out of that system located at Public Works.
Why are you asking me to chime in on it if you've asked Ms. Red to give you the information?
Again, Ms. Redmond's response was that the department heads could answer that, but I know that all department heads, I would assume, report to the mayor, and that you would have some input on that.
I don't have any input on it.
Never.
Okay. So at this point, we don't know what the monitoring of that petroleum is. I'll wait for Ms. Redmond to get in touch with all the department heads of the village to know that the gasoline that the village residents are paying, exactly that it's going to those vehicles. There was another item on here, I believe it's Health Cell Jefferson, and the trustees can help me on it. It had something to do with, the amount was $3,000. I think it was M.E. Simpson. Pardon me, that was M.E. Simpson for $9,159 on page 7. And maybe Public Works can answer that for us. Trustee Pearson, if you remember, that was for some kind of leak detection. Was that for the resolution that was passed last month? We're not absolutely sure on that. Maybe Public Works can chime in on that one if you're familiar with that one, Mr. Stacy.
Yes, sir. That's for the leak detection program that you.
Karen, good to see you. Why woke media are avoiding Vania Dukes and the city mail employees? Yes, why? Well, I know that she and another woman was on the news the other day. That I do know. Was it Channel 7? Maybe somebody can tell me. Loud Room. I think it was Channel 7. Oh, it's all right, Karen's. I think it was.
Guys voted on last month. They are just now completing it, and we should have a report within the next couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you for that. The other ones, since they're, well, like I say, Ms. Redmond is not here. We'll wait for her correspondence. So, Attorney, I don't know if we want to have an amendment to vote on Trustee Stubbs' motion to hold back on payment of 5 Star, because the motion has been made to pass the.
Right, there's a motion on the floor that has to be dealt with first. Either vote on that motion, or whoever made the motion can withdraw it, and then you can do an amended motion. But you can't vote on a second motion before you deal with the first motion on the floor.
Gotcha.
Okay.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the corporate bills as presented. Motion by Trustee Muhammad, second by Trustee House. There being no further discussion.
Sabrina, welcome. Yeah, there's quite a lot of people in here. And Ed Steve is going to get up and speak, and he's going to give an earful to Muhammad, Stubbs, and Pearson. He's going to be doggone ticked off because he's going to lose his job because of these 4 trustees: Stubbs, Muhammad, Denton, and Pearson. And it's like, it was Channel 5. Okay. Oh, is she a hag? Hiram, good to see you. Very good to see you, my friend.
Trustee Muhammad.
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Denton.
Aye.
Trustee Pearson.
Aye.
Trustee Henyard.
Aye.
Motion carries. 6 ayes. Does it have to be an amended motion on the exemption of the payment of that?
Pamela, so good to see you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Next thing.
Point of information, Attorney. The way we've normally done this, according to per Attorney Murphy, that if there's a question concerning an item.
And now Muhammad is going to school the attorney on law.
Item on the warrant list, that we do a second vote to take out that particular question, which was 5 Star. That a second vote which is an amendment on the first vote, which was the
Okay,
passing.
you can, well, someone has to bring forth the motion to amend.
I would like to make a motion to amend the warrant list to pay everything but 5 Star until we receive those invoices and we can do a phone census on paying those once we see them.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was muted. Sorry. They want to do a phone census on paying that bill after they see the invoices.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded to amend the payment of the corporate bills to exempt or exclude, I should say.
Pay them all, but
Yeah, to exclude 5 Star. Any discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Muhammad?
Aye.
Trustee Stubbs?
Aye.
Trustee House?
No.
Trustee Denton?
Aye.
Trustee Pearson?
Aye.
Trustee Henry?
No.
4-2.
Okay, four ayes. 2 noes, motion passed. All right, next thing on the agenda is old business. Item A, that's the mayoral veto of ordinance number 18-010. And today I am vetoing the ordinance number 18. Vetoing ordinance number 18-010. And this veto simply reads, I hereby veto ordinance number 18-010. This ordinance eliminates the positions held by key executive staff members. These staff members provide essential information to the residents and provide tremendously important services to our residents. These people are greatly responsible for making Dolton work. The elimination of these positions has nothing to do with balancing the budget and everything to do with political retaliation. Unless at least one of the 4 trustees who voted for the ordinance reconsiders and does the right thing, the village will face expensive, embarrassing litigation, which is greatly disrespectful to our taxpayers. More importantly, the residents of the village of Dolton will lose out on the wonderful and valuable services provided by these employees. I respectfully request that this board uphold my veto at the next regular board meeting, dated September 14th, respectfully submitted, Mayor Riley H. Rogers. For the record, I'm tendering this veto to clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Trustees have already received a copy.
Okay. All right, next thing on the agenda is the hiring of 2 police officers full-time. Trustee Pearson. I think you are.
So we can stop having to fill those gaps with full-time
hires if we don't get this done.
And open up here in the village of Dolton. So if you want to step to the podium there.
Okay, now we're going to hear what the residents have to say to these trustees. And it is going to be very enlightening.
You can give an explanation to the board is what you want to do.
After this goes.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor.
Second Saturday, we have Saturday hours as well. Some of you might not be able to make it during the week. So if you need Saturday.
Been waiting for citizens address. Okay, anyone that wants to address this body can come forward here.
Good evening, Mayor, trustees, residents of Dolton.
We're going to try to keep it reasonable. I'm not going to say 3 minutes. We're going to try to keep it a reasonable amount of time. Okay.
I'm just going to make a couple of announcements today. When I first started coming to these meetings a few years back, I came in my role as a director for NHS and bringing resources for the residents. Kind of got away from it because I got caught up in really what's happening in our village, and I'm still intrigued by it. But I wanted to do this because I received a call today. So NHS still offers assistance to homeowners that are struggling to make their mortgage payments. There's still money available to assist you if you lost your job or if there's death of a title holder or as a series of eligibility. I didn't bring all the requirements with me because I was off today.
Okay. For those new, we are a channel that have adult conversations and opinions. We don't want to trash anybody or swear or anything like that. Let me see. So please keep the comments civil. Thank you.
But if you're interested, I know there's some flyers on the table. If you know anyone that's struggling to make that mortgage payment, if a life event has happened, you can still get help. So I want to let that be known. Also, Cook County Health Systems has a program that we're partnering with them on. if you are in a household with a child 6 years or under, and your home was built prior to, was it 1978, you may be eligible to get an inspection for lead. And if there is lead found, they will come in and repair and make any remediations that are necessary. If it means replacing windows, doing gutters, wherever they're finding the lead, it's a free service. And a lot of folks did not take advantage of these services. They launched this back in, I want to say May. They've only gotten 2 applications. And I know Dolton has, excuse me, housing stock that was built prior to 1978. So even if you are a grandparent that watches your grandchildren for at least 5 to 6 hours per day for a period of time, you still may be eligible. I know we came in and we met with the media department and did a recording of it, so check out that whenever it's ready. So these things are available for homeowners. There are resources. There's also still resources available for homeowners who need to do home improvements on their house and may not have the full amount. This comes in the form of a loan, but there's a 50% grant, so up to $30,000 you can get repairs done to your house. The grant only covers $15,000, but you would have to repay the rest. So there are still options for people to make improvements on their homes, very reasonable rates. And also, perhaps Trustee Hinyard and I can get together and do some events to talk about some of the things that are available. And if there's other questions, we can just have some type of event here and let you know about everything that's available for homeowners. Excuse me. There's also... and
now they can't stand each other. Oh, how the worm turns.
Money's available for first-time home buyers. If you know anybody interested in buying a house, you can reach out to NHS and we'll tell you what that's all about. There are some restrictions regarding this program, but the dollars amount is up to $15,000 to purchase a home. There are some preferred lenders. U.S. Bank is not one of them. So if you're working with U.S. Bank, you won't be able to get this grant. Okay. And lastly, now my NHS hat is off, and I'm going to put my resident hat on. I just want to ask a question. I wrote a note here, and Trustee Muhammad, you had made a comment that at one of the meetings where the residents came up and expressed that they did not want that ordinance to pass with the cuts that were suggested, and you said that the residents did not come up with solutions. We weren't invited to the table. So when you invite us to the table, perhaps we can work together and give you and offer some solutions. So anytime you want to hold a finance committee meeting and invite the residents, I'll show up.
Okay, yes, we do have finance committee meetings, as you're well aware, and we have to publish them publicly because by state statute we have to have 48-hour notice. So we have had finance meetings, and again, as you may know, many people don't come. We have them at 6:30 because there was a criticism having them too early. So we have them at the usual time, 6:30 p.m. But as you know, a lot of our people do not get involved in committee meetings. So we can't publish it anymore because you can only publish it with what we have, which is the cable access channel, the internet, that type of thing. So we use all available resources to us to invite the public. And they're free to come and free to have their input because we have public address at every committee meeting, including finance.
And I don't know what's going on with the voice, but yeah, you do have the meetings, but my suggestion is when you want to make decisions and you want the input from the residents, I don't know that the last finance meeting brought up the subject of the cuts that were being thought about. So if you want our input, ask for it. I'll be there. I come to most every meeting that I can make if it's possible for me to be there. Well, I'm simply saying if there's decisions to be made and you want the public to know, public, you do have to come out because local government impacts your daily lives more than the federal government or the state government. Right. So we have to come out and voice our opinion and say what it is we want, and we will trust that you try to do the right thing by the residents. That's it.
One of the things I'd like to say is that there has not been any regular finance meetings. If the residents know that if it was every first Monday of every month or whatever it was, you would get more attendance. But to have a finance meeting, just say, okay, we're going to have a finance meeting, and then post it on the window there 48 hours before. All these residents don't come to the village hall to even know that there's a finance meeting. So, whether it's
I'm waiting for my cheesecake delivery. Doggone it. The wrenches are assembling.
by design or whether it's by accident, whatever the case may be, I think before the last finance meeting, the last one was April 20th, I think it was, April 24th. So to get more participation, you have to have regular dates. Like everyone knows to be here every first and third Monday because of the board meeting. So
I
if it
want
was
my
put
cheesecake.
put in a regular time slot, I think there'll be more participation.
Mr. Lee, before you speak, just so everybody's aware, these are published on the internet and they're email blast to everyone. So those are the only available resources we have. Not only the Finance Committee, all other committee meetings have no regular time slot. So we use all available media that's available to us to publish it.
Pardon me?
They're free to set a time slot.
Yeah, I mean, you could set a time slot if you want, just like we've got this time slot here for the regular board meetings. Every month, we'll have a finance meeting on the third Wednesday of the month, or whatever. So there's nothing preventing that the schedule be put out there for those regular meetings. Go ahead, Mr. Lee.
My turn?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Greetings, Mayor, Board, City of...
Mr. Lee is always at these meetings since forever.
officials and fellow residents. I don't know if you all heard that news blurb because they pushed it off the news pretty quickly. They were saying that the South suburban area gets less return on their tax dollars that they send to Springfield than just about every other area in the city. The more affluent areas are getting 4 to 5 times more of revenue back in goods and services. Places like Orland Park, where y'all like to go spend your money.
True.
Places like that, they get much more money back from Springfield. My question is to the board and to the mayor: is there a way to get with this new government that may be coming in when Warner gets out, and maybe we can get some changes made there? Are there any preparations? Have you all discussed anything about maybe increasing our share of the money that comes back from Springfield? That would be a great alternative to cutting department heads that we need.
A woman being denied her cheesecake.
Much more than trustees.
Yeah. Well, there's not been any discussion on my end. I think that a good way to approach this is to our legislators to try to.
Well, what do we do? Cynthia. You say, Loud Room, this channel is for adult conversations, to be respectful to everyone, especially mods. We don't do that here. It's plain and simple. I like to put up everybody's conversations. That's a thing with me. I like to do it. However, we don't do that here. So, yeah. Toodles. Ta-ta.
Put a bill in place, if possible, put legislation in place to try to get more of that funding to come back to the South Side.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If all the local politicians, especially the ones in this area, can get together and put together a proposal to get comparable revenue that some of the ones at the top of the scale are getting, our problems would go a long, if it doesn't solve our problems, it would go a long way towards solving those problems. And we wouldn't have to come here talking about chopping off heads of people who also, they have vital interest to the community. And I know you say don't get emotional, but I ain't about throwing people out in the street, frankly. If it can be helped. If there are other alternatives.
And Loudworm, that would be the power of the owner of this channel. We don't play little games here like other channels. I don't care how many people watch this channel. I love the people that do. I love the people that comment, but you have to be respectful. We don't do that here. So if you want to come and make mess, we laugh at you, kick you to the curb, and move on. Now, can we please continue to listen to Mr. Dan Lee?
Those need to be explored first and foremost. Secondly, on that same subject, I would like to know, I'm not familiar with every detail on the ordinance that the mayor vetoed, but are we talking department heads, or are we talking department staff, or are we talking about a combination of those? And at the end of that, my question would be exactly what percentage of the budget would this save? Would we save more money from cutting a couple of trustees? Would we save more money than maybe adjusting different salaries? I'm not just throwing this out here. I'm just trying to see what the impact would be, because we know what the impact would be if we start chopping all the department heads, because we already have difficulty with services as most of us already know. We mentioned roads, we mentioned schools, we mentioned all these things. You start chopping all these people, that's penny wise and pound foolish. That doesn't make a lot of sense, to cut off the people that provide the vital services to people like us. Okay? Now, there has to be another way to do this. And I think one way to start on that is to get together with the other South Suburban mayors and stuff and so forth, get that report and present it to whomever wins the governorship and that particular group that are going in. And I think we need to get on that now rather than wait until the last minute.
Yeah.
And get that done. That's just a suggestion.
Yeah.
That's some of the input you may be able to get in the financial meeting. Things of this nature, because there are ideas out here, but we don't really know the numbers like you all do, like the numbers that you all were talking about today. They may be available I haven't seen it on the internet or anything about with the numbers, how bad our budget is, how much we need, the projections and things of that nature. It's one thing to say, well, we can need a long-range plan, but you cannot plan without the facts. You can't plan. And we don't know these things. So it's up to you all to get this information to us. And if you're going to start getting input from all of us, you're going to have to start sharing the information with us. Okay, there's no other way to do that.
You're absolutely right, Mr. Lee. And to answer your question, it was department heads, it was personnel. Matter of fact, there are cuts across the board. Across the board means every department.
Yeah, I understand what across the board means.
10% non-personnel, to answer your question. We're looking for also non-personnel cuts, which means equipment, supplies, that type of thing. But we will have a budget coming up. It will be announced. And on September 17th, we'll have Mr. Vince Kankar here concerning that $1.3 million tax anticipation warrant. So you're absolutely right. You have to know the budget. I'm assuming that it's online, because it's supposed to be published, so it should be online, the budget that we're referring to, the one that was passed. But if not, we will have a budget, not a budget hearing, but a committee meeting coming up, and it'll be announced within the next couple of days or so, where the public is invited, and it'll be approximately 6:30 p.m., where we'll go over every line item like we were supposed to do at the August 10th meeting, which didn't happen. But for this next finance meeting, we will go over every line item of the budget.
But looking at the bigger picture, I strongly suggest you all get together and get with these other cities and see if we can get some of our money back.
Yes,
that will go up much further than just us cutting each other's throats in this village.
Yeah. Next thing on the agenda is Finance Trustee Muhammad.
Uh-oh, what'd I do? Oh, damn. Good the phone. What a phone. What'd I do? I think I screwed that one up. Let me find it real quick. Just give me a second. Okay. Let me share the screen.
Think that this village should not be providing a resource for a private entity to make that kind of money, and we don't get anything for it.
Okay, I think that this trustee board, they need to lead by example. Just don't do a lot of talking. There's things that you can do to help this budget.
Welcome, Chandra.
Okay, another solution. It takes more money to pay overtime than it does to pay regular pay. With the amount of budget that we're paying overtime, we can have more than 2 police officers. We can have more than 1 fire department. We can afford to make our village safe. Okay? Now, the last question, Mayor, is for you. I want to understand what this email blast is about. I want to set it to rest. Now, are they allowed to use the system to do the email blast, but they have to have their own list, or do they want to use your list? Is that what the thing is about?
Over the years that since I came into office, we built a lot of relationships, and we built a lot of requests for doing certain things. And we ask when we have people attend our events for their phone numbers and their emails so we can contact them when we have events. And some people have emails, some people don't. Some people we have to call. But, you know, on some of the things that, you know, I like to do and go forward with, they cut the budget on, you know, but then again, they want to use our access in our emails to notify the things that they have to get done. So I think it's a two-way street.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. The question is,
Mhm.
okay. The question is, if they form their own list, because see, people, when they sign to give you their email address, they sign it up to give it to you, not to share it. I wish you would have had a disclaimer on there, else I would have never gave it to you. But I don't think that you can really give out other people's email address if they only gave it to you. I mean, you may have to talk to the lawyer about it. And if it's the list, why can't you guys form your own list? I mean, is it just I mean, if they had an email list, could they use that blast system?
Yeah.
Okay, then well, why do they keep saying that it's the mayor? If you are that strongly and want to get your information out, guess what? You'll get out there and get email addresses just like he did. There's no reason to keep jabbing it. I'm so sick of hearing we don't have access to the email blast. But no, you got access to the email blast. You don't have access to his email addresses. So let's let that rest.
You know, in
I really feel your pain, Chandra. I truly do. It is, you just have to kind of shake your head. Yes, welcome to the rabbit hole.
I hate, you know, like Trustee Muhammad sometimes where the mayor never answers me. Well, I mean, answer those emails when you want to threaten me. It behooves you. Come on. You know, I'm not getting that back and forth stuff like that. So, and you know, there was talk about me not putting anything in the budget or participating in the budget. Do you really think they listen to me?
Nope. Nope. Nope.
Have they been Have they been listening to me?
No.
Why? There's so
And I really have to apologize for that one commenter. We do not allow those things here.
many other things I can get done in the village here rather than sit and say, we ain't gonna do it. We're gonna listen to you no way. So,
And
the village attorney, John Murphy, says their budget. It's their budget. They got the votes. And I believe it's not their budget. I believe it's Trustee Muhammad's budget.
okay, Mayor.
So anyway, go ahead.
Thank
Dan.
you. Okay, and then lastly but least, now, Muhammad, you always bringing up something is political. Why is it that you have to bring Mr. Kemp in to go over Miss Rittman? She knows this city. We have Mr. House here. I don't care if he volunteered. I don't care what he do, but he's working for you. He's not working for these villagers, and neither are you. I mean, you're the first one. Look at your body language. I'm oh, my back hurt. Okay, yeah, whatever. Some of the things that you guys say, you really insult the intelligence of these residents. So that's all I have to say.
Hello, Mayor, trustees. I just have a question. Well, I called up here the other day about the recycling thing, and they said they didn't take tires.
Mm-hmm.
So I Googled and found out who took tires, and I don't know who I told, but I thought I hear it mentioned today because they right there in Riverdale.
Yeah.
They are $2 to drop off some tires because I see people dumping them in the streets.
Right.
Yeah. So
when you go to buy new tires, you have to pay for disposal.
Yeah.
Because now they don't
want to take.
They don't take them for free,
Right.
and so we have to pay for disposal too. So that's why you'll see certain areas, people are dumping their tires because if they go get new tires and they don't want to pay the disposal fee, they put them in the trunk, and then at night they come and they throw them in the back of your house or something.
Well, I
like
just
that.
gave them a place to suggest to people when they call because I asked them, did they have a suggestion? They was like, no.
Okay. Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome. My other thing is I live on 150-32 Beachview.
Uh-huh.
Behind me is the railroad tracks.
Right.
It's wild trees, everything coming over my 6-foot fence. Who maintains that?
I don't know.
Me, because I've been there 20-some years and I've been paying somebody to do it. I'm kind of tired of it.
We can check. I'm quite sure behind your property there's an easement. I'm not sure how far it would be. Usually it's, I would say about 10 feet, 8 to 10 feet. So directly behind your property, and you can look on your survey if you have one. You can see how far your property goes back behind
my
your
fence.
fence.
Is where my property ends.
Usually they don't put the fence on the property line.
Okay.
Yeah, because you don't want any.
Welcome, Edward. We are going through, this is a 2018 meeting, Prelude to Disaster. And we're going to find out what goes on here. But thank you and welcome. And let me get myself off the screen.
Encumbrances on your title or your deed when you want to sell the property, so they usually put it inside the property line. So I would suggest if you have a survey, to look at the survey and you can see actually how far your property line goes back beyond that fence, and the rest maybe is a railroad, and we can try to address that.
Yeah, because I tried to call them. They didn't. I call them every year.
Yeah, but we've been having a problem with them too because there's certain areas right away that the railroad has that they haven't maintained.
Right.
And so there's been some tickets issued, but openly, they need to do a better job to clear their right of ways.
Well, that's a heck of a thing, Terrence, because I'm still waiting for my cheesecake to be delivered.
So
that's so it's up to me then, huh?
Pardon me?
It's up to me to find out who owns it.
Well, I would strongly suggest you to see where your property line is, and then from that point on, if it's a railroad property, we can try to, additionally make some comments to them to address it. Okay, all right, that's even better.
Thank you.
An engineer,
all right,
take a look at it.
That's fine.
Okay,
thank you.
You're welcome.
to the mayor and the board. I'm representing Melanie's Fitness Center, and I just wanted to come and thank you that you were a man of your word. You said that you was going to send someone and start working on it, and they have been there working on it, but the process is really slow.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to find out, do you have a time frame when the pool will be up working?
Well, we've ordered the items, and it took like three weeks to get the items. It just came in, I think it was last Thursday or Friday. He's been doing some of the patching on the pool, and that's a lengthy process to get it done and dried out. So we can't paint it. I think he's going to paint it with epoxy paint to seal it. But I think most of the patching is done now, and they probably will start painting the pool by the end of this week. So we're probably looking at maybe 2 weeks for the pool to be up. Now, but it's going to have to be re-inspected. So once it's re-inspected, and they're checking off all the items at the last inspection that was in violation. So, but we're going to clean it up. They're doing the painting now. They're steam cleaning all the locker room areas, the spa, bathroom area and stuff like that. So,
oh yes, Chandria, and my cheesecake is here. I'll be back while you listen.
it'll be up and running.
The reason why I'm asking is we're losing a lot of people.
They'll be back.
Because the majority of the people that goes there use the pool, and they're older people like myself.
Yeah, I think they'll be back because, as you know, a lot of the new fitness centers don't have pools,
right?
Because they want to get rid of the liability of somebody possibly drowning or getting hurt and injured in the pool. So I think once it's all done and everything, they'll be back.
Right,
yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor, board, I'm also representing Melanie. And again, I would like to thank you for your presence, because we have been seeing your presence around the fitness center. And thank you for being a man of your word. That goes a long way. And one other thing that I would like to add, since we're not utilizing the gym like our membership that we pay for, when the pool do get up and running, can the members be compensated some kind of way, like with a month or two of membership, because we wasn't able to use the pool for that length of time?
I don't know about that. To be honest with you, I can't give anything away. So it would have to. I would say we need to be brought for the board to see if they wanted to provide some compensation for you for that.
Well, how do I present that to the board? Do I ask the board now? I mean, because it's not fair to us either.
Yeah.
You all are still taking our monies for those months that the pool was down. So, it was money came out of our pockets.
So you say maybe 50% because you use the other part?
Yeah, well, the pool is the main thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I think that'd be any refunds that are given back would probably have to go before the board.
well, we're not looking for refunds, a monetary refund. We're just looking for an extra month or two towards our membership.
Okay.
So how do I get
We'll figure that out.
Okay.
We'll figure out a way to have that addressed.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, Mayor and residents. I just moved to Dolton about 4 years ago.
Okay.
And bought my house 2 years ago on 144 Place by Chicago Road.
Okay.
I've been coming here for more than a month already, addressing an issue that I have. I live next to the bar. I can't find parking. It's a weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday issue that I have. The whole Chicago Road is full of cars. 144 Place is full of cars, and I have to park in 145th when I live on 144.
Okay.
I have 2 kids that I have to be walking with them at the middle of the night. Well, not in the middle of the night, but maybe like at 10 p.m. Because there's no parking. I addressed this to Jason, to Sandra. I mean, calling them, no answer. So, I mean, I'm kind of like a little bit bothered already.
Where are you? You on the same side of the bar?
Yes, right next to it.
Right behind it?
Yes.
Are you on 144th place?
Place.
Okay. What the board can do is look into maybe establishing an ordinance for residential parking.
If I can speak to that as well. Since our conversation, and I do recognize the conversation, I've spoken to the owner of the facility, and that he's claimed to be working on the parking, but I'm not putting a lot of stock into that. We do have on our upcoming board meeting, the next one, which is a committee of the whole. I spoke with the clerk that we will have that on the agenda for permit parking, as we've discussed. So that will be up for a discussion so that the entire board can hear more about the situation and find some direction. There could be some challenges with the permit parking, not so much the voting side, but the implementation, because permit parking, even if approved, will require getting all of the signs, making sure that we know the addresses for the homes, how many permits are we going to give out, and then consideration as well from yourself and the neighbors on if you do have people coming to visit you, you only have so many slots, and that could also propose some other challenges. So those are things that need to be talked out.
Yes, I mean, I understand. I mean, families have parties, birthdays, etc., you know, but like I said, this is an issue of every single weekend. Like I have told you, if I knew if that was a bar, I would have never bought that house, you know, in the first place. Because I even put cones, I put the garbage can. Once I get there, they took it out already and took the spot. I mean, so at this point, it's like, I don't know what to do no more.
Okay.
I mean, I suggested, like you said, some like in the city of Chicago, permits something, you know, because I mean, I'm paying taxes here too, and
right.
My husband, he's already like, he wants to sell the house already because he's fed up already.
Yeah. Okay. We'll address it, ma'am. You have her number? Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I don't know if y'all can hear me on this mic. That house by the library. What's to that house by the library? And the village responsible for going there, cutting the grass and stuff. And this house that you all was nice enough to go back there. And don't get me wrong, that's a terrific job y'all did on that landscape off that greenhouse over here off Sheridan. But why would they put all the debris right behind the old OBGYN clinic? They piled it all back there.
Man,
I mean,
our people did that?
My thing is, I was so humble to see it done that I didn't even think about it until a week or so. And I was like, wow, why is all this debris, you know, back here? Now we got these little signs that say people going to be charged $750 some odd dollars for littering. Who responsible for going around overseeing that? Because out of curiosity, I wondered how much it cost to post those signs up. But now I'm even more curious about who enforces it.
Now you'd ask me 5 questions.
And get ready to go 3 more, because I don't want you messing with my 3 minutes, because I ain't heard nobody have to do nothing with 3 minutes. So I want to stay.
I made a comment in regards to the 3 minutes, but you give me 5 questions. Why don't you ask me one at a time? Let me answer them, because I won't be able to remember them all.
No. I'm respecting, because see that stuff where you use time answering them questions. You can't do it when people call. I ain't gonna use the people's time. I ain't gonna have people telling me they want to get my minutes back from me. But this suing the mayor, this ain't gonna cost no more money than things already unnecessarily cost out here. And this house situation, everybody on that board, no offense when I say that, it seemed to be a whole lot of people on the board that's able to get hold of these houses, where people that want to buy them, they literally have to get a camel from the desert to ride him in and promise him some water to get it. Now, the reason I only came into the meeting is because I was meeting with some people right here. They're going to call here tomorrow wanting to know about purchasing this cable company, and on the fact that they met me at 7:30 tonight on my bike. And here's the one thing I said.
Purchasing a cable company.
They interested in it. I don't know about person, but they very, very interested. It's not their first time. But I assured them that they would get a real professional individual. Because, they're going to let it be known that Ms. Hill is the reason. Because it's 2 people. I'm warning them to come out here. I really would like somebody come get this show, but the two people I'm on, they not there. But they interested in this cable company. And my thing is, I'd be glad when you all get to the point, y'all make good deals when it comes to y'all houses, y'all business, and anything concerning you all. And I don't be meaning to be offensive when I say this. But what is so blinding that you all can't seem to do it for a community, and you pass these people every day and it don't bother you all? And you know, me saying stop, that's got to be between you, God, and your conscience. But why is it that you all want to keep doing this over and over and over again and not allowing no opportunity whatsoever? The reason I don't come and want to answer is because you all rarely give me an answer, you know, when I contact you all. So then I have to go to people that got a little bit more power than y'all to, you know, serve y'all subpoenas and, you know, make y'all have to come and give statements and depositions. That's crazy. That's crazy. So when these people contact you all, I sure hope they don't tell me, Miss Hill, you know, just nobody to get involved with. Now, if you really sometime want to answer me back, my phone number is always listed over there. That's why I don't stand here no more and allow you all to chat up my time. So if y'all, anybody want to get back to me, my phone number listed over there.
Good evening, everybody, to the mayor, to the trustee.
Georgia, before we go, I'm been in negotiations to try to get that building tore down. The Comcast building, it was hit very hard in an accident, but the whole roof has caved in inside there. So I'm not sure about the structure, integrity of the structure there. So, but I'd like to try to get it demoed this year.
Okay, we was talking concerning Melanie. Who's in charge? Who is the person that's over the chairperson, Melanie?
There is no chairperson over Melanie.
Okay, so I mean, I've been gone for a few days.
Yeah, there's no chairperson over Melanie. I'm not sure if you were here when some of the members came in and voiced their
oh yeah, I came back. I drove all that day to get back here for that meeting.
Their concerns about some of the issue at the Melanie, and they're being addressed now.
Okay, and to Muhammad, I guess I won't say the mayor second, but I'll just say Muhammad, because most of the questions we have to go to you for them, right? Because we can't ask Mayor Roger no question. We have to ask Muhammad.
No. You
okay, concerning, well, I mean, you don't have no voice either.
Well, the thing is, you know, the pool had been down for some time, and some of these trustees were aware of it. And I guess, and I think it was Trustee Muhammad's idea to try to use those members to come in here and crack on me.
Oh, okay. Well, you're proving your point, so we appreciate that.
So at any rate, they could have put something in progress to get the place going. So hey.
Okay, my next question is concerning the finance meeting they supposed to have next time. Is this going to be after the veto or before? Do you have any idea when the next finance meeting going to be?
We don't know the exact date yet to answer your question.
Well, how will we know?
As I stated before, it'll be published the way we normally publish them.
Okay, because I'm very concerned. I've just imagined what this village would be like without, for instance, excuse my expression, but Miss Liz Scott, and you know, the head is always somebody that's so important to the village. That's what really aggravates me. Why is it somebody that's so important to the village that they want to get rid of? If they get finance for the true lawyer and all that stuff, look like they should be able to find something to keep our good people on. So I don't think we should have to, wait until, I can't wait to the next election, but I'm saying, but I got to be here until the next election. Okay, so we want to see if we can get some help. We really want to keep our good people on. All right, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, trustees, and residents. My question this evening was that I called earlier about a 1 o'clock meeting, and I was told there was no meeting. But I hear that there was a 1 o'clock meeting today pertaining to extended from last Monday's meeting. Was there a meeting today at 1 o'clock? Exactly,
There was an election board meeting today.
at 1 o'clock.
Yes.
Was it posted, Mayor?
Doesn't
Trustees?
was it posted? Okay. You were at last, you were
I
at,
was here, but I called. I didn't know.
you were here at the last meeting and they mentioned at that meeting that the meeting was going to be today.
Sure did.
Yeah. So whoever answered the phone today, they probably was not aware of the election board meeting because it wasn't a regular scheduled meeting.
I looked on my app. It wasn't on my app. I looked for the events that would happen today.
We don't have to post that. That's not a village event.
But
It's a challenge with the for the election board
To the election
and the
board.
petitions. Yeah,
Okay.
that were
all right.
filed.
So it was in fact held this today. I'm just asking, please. And the other thing was that Trustee Stubbs reported the dedication for Mayor Shaw. I didn't see that.
Ms. Creighton, you're not going to see everything.
But I don't think, you know what? What you wanted to be funny if something happened to you. I like to know about things that happen in the place that I live. And I'm disappointed that it wasn't, because I didn't want to miss that. There are things that I don't want to miss. And I checked the things that you say, that our app and the cable channel and all those things. I don't think it's funny. I just want to know that if you would please consider posting the things that every citizen needs to know. I'm not saying just me.
Ms. Creighton, we post a lot of stuff. And I don't think any resident is going to see 100% of everything that's posted or put out there. Now, tomorrow they can post a thing on the door for a special meeting.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't come to this village, you won't see it.
But required by law, that shouldn't be posted somewhere else other than on the door.
It's correct me if I'm wrong, a conspicuous place. I think the statute says.
Meetings have to be posted on the website.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's just meetings that have to be posted on the website. Nothing else has to be posted legally on the website. Okay, thank you. That was a eye opener. And also, Mayor, I know you said that you didn't know when you would open up fire station number 2,
Mm-hmm.
but is there any reason that there's a reservation on opening back up that other station?
Well, if you've been here at every meeting, as you discussed, as this board discussed what type of financial condition it is, and the long list of things that they want repaired over there. How do we spend the money? Where do we spend the money? I think with the move of the second station, they moved to the first station. I don't think there's been any delay in service. And I think it's working out well.
But you know what? I think that anyone that knows that there's a call, I think you said at the last meeting, there's a call that made and you time the response. I think it's unfair for citizens to be paying taxes and someone decides that they're not.
I am so sorry, chat and everybody. There was a confusion with my delivery of my cheesecake. So I'll try to catch up on your chats. Okay, bye.
Going to open the second fire station because of what? I'd like for the trustees to tell me why that fire station, what violations are there, and why can it not be open, please.
I just have one more question. Trustee Muhammad, I know you said that we're going to have another financial committee meeting and we don't know the date. Is it possible that we can talk about a date as long as it happens before the next open meeting?
It'll be before the February 17th meeting. That's the best I can give you for
February?
now, because the reason February, I'm sorry, I say
please,
February.
please.
This next board meeting, which will not be a cow meeting because the trustees are going to make it a regular board meeting, by the way, because there was a misnomer that it will be a cow. It will not. It'll be a regular board meeting. But before that meeting, which is September 17th,
Right.
which is about approximately 2 weeks from now. We will have the finance meeting between now and before the 17th of September.
Okay, great. That's all I needed. Thank you.
One reason I think that some of these board members want to change it from a committee of the whole is because they cannot vote to override my veto at a committee of the whole meeting. So they want to rush override my veto to get rid of the targeted people. As Trustee House stated, it's a committee of the whole meeting, but you heard what the other mayor said. They're going to change it from a committee of the whole to a regular board meeting to vote on that veto, to override my veto. Which means they would like to get rid of these targeted people quicker than they should. Well, that's where the court has to come in. You know, we're gonna have to see what type of remedies we can seek to put maybe some type of emergency order in, emergency function in regards to putting the stay in order.
Good evening.
Carol.
Good evening. I'm Carol Lloyd, and I've been a resident since 91. But what I wanted to say, because at first I wasn't going to say anything, but some just keep pushing me. But I just want to say that I'm asking God to move on the hearts of this board, to soften your hearts and give you a spirit of humility. And also understand that when you cut off the mayor's staff, you cut them, you're cutting the residents. The reason I say that you're cutting the residents because we voted for him, and he has her and them, and they help him so well. And the things that are done because of what they bring to the table. And you all don't bring anything to the table that's beneficial. So, I just couldn't sit there any longer, but I had to come up and give my piece of what I feel, and you sit up here and then you sometimes you just treat residents when they come up with such disrespect, when you should be given respect because you're there because we voted for you all. And I guess you should remember.
Okay, so Henyard is sitting right there as this woman is saying, mouse toes, hide, she's awake. As this woman is telling the trustees they are treating the residents with such disrespect. Henyard is sitting there. Is she listening? That's my question for the chat.
That another voting is coming up. And the main thing is just remember that you reap what you sow. Just remember that. If you don't remember anything else, you reap what you sow. And so now you think that you want to get rid of people and then you're going to get up here and run everything and everything's going to run smoothly. But it's not, because just what you put out is what's going to come back to you. Now, if you want this village, if you really concerned about this village, you want everything to go forward, then what you do is put down your no, I don't want to say feelings, but your malice. Put down your malice and all the other things that spur you to do the things that you do out of vengeance and just whatever, and begin to work with the mayor, because he's the one that's in leadership. He's the leader, and so God has given him a vision for this village. So what you're supposed to do is find out what that vision is and try to help and work toward getting it done. And then work out your differences. Forgive one another. Okay? Forgive one another. Because with all this bickering, all it's going to do is just continue to divide. Continue to divide. Continue to tear up. Then what happens when everything is all tore up and then the good people gone? Hello, Ford Heights.
Good evening, Mayor, Board, and residents. I just want to add on to just what the young lady just said. Um, when I watched the TV on the 10th, I noticed that Mr. Muhammad's attitude is very arrogant while other people up here are talking. He is so arrogant that he's turning away, looking back there on his.
Lola, welcome. Welcome. Mia, does anybody remember that woman's last name or that woman's name?
To divide, continue to tear up. Then what happens when everything is all tore up and then the good people gone? Hello, Ford Heights.
Good evening, Mayor, Board, and residents. I just want to add on to just what the young lady just said. When I watched the TV on the 10th, I noticed that Mr. Muhammad's attitude is very arrogant while other people up here are talking. He is so arrogant that he's turning away, looking back there on his cell phone. He's not interested in anything that anyone has to say. He has to remember, although some board meeting nights, there's not many people here, but a lot of people do watch it on Channel 4 and they see what is going on. And my other thing I want to say is that I can't understand. I worked on the mayor's last election, and I worked with you, Mrs. Denton, and your husband. I've been on the credit board on my job. I've been on different things on my job. But when I got on it, I was there long enough to learn what I was doing before I voiced anything against anybody. I was totally surprised at you at the first meeting that you voted no with the rest of the board members on everything. And you cannot tell me that you knew what was going on. I will never believe that. I'm not going to say that nobody's ignorant or smart or anything, but we have to be neutral. And tonight, even for you to be a new board member, to go along with everybody else and to vote on not allowing the mayor to have veto power, and you are a new kid on the block. I just cannot understand that. I've been a new kid on the block on organizations that I was on. I sat back, read, and did my homework before I made a vote with the rest of the people, because the rest of the people want you to go along with them. And that is usually not the right way to do things. I was very disappointed. And I was very disappointed tonight in the voting. And then another thing, what gives whoever thought it is to sell the fitness center? Who has that power? Did you all bring it to the board? Did you bring it to the people? Say, do you want to sell this? Who gave you the power to do this? It's like you are the mayor. You are running this show. You didn't win, but you are trying to run this show. And that's all I have to say.
Evening, Mayor, everyone. I just had something just came to mind. So this is for you, Trustee Denton. If in fact Public Works Superintendent, which is I'm assuming is Matt Stacy, if he is going to be removed, then on the 28th of September, Public Works Supervisor possibly is being removed. Who's going to run Public Works? Who will that be?
It's my understanding that there will be a person that is of senior authority that would be over the rest of the workers. So everything will fall into place, but we don't have exact layout right now because this thing is not settled yet. So
Okay, so if it were settled and you had to put somebody in that position, not an easy job to do.
No, it's not.
So there's got to be somebody in mind. Now, I'm sure that there are union people over there. And so if there are union people, there's some contractual issues about giving out promotions or stuff like that. So you got to have a plan. Don't wait until tomorrow to find out what you should have done yesterday. Because that means if there's nobody there and the snow falls, who's going to shovel the snow? So I know somebody up there has had to have talked about this. And I only picked that particular one because I know about the other three. You know, what's going to happen. Those would just be probably faded away. Don't know what's going to happen with the media department because now, well, I don't get the newspaper, so I can't read about anything. I don't get the little plackets in my lawn anymore about beautifying Dolton. I don't get that.
That wasn't paid for by the village. I paid for that.
I know, but I think what happened with that, I was told, because it said the mayor, that was the problem, so it doesn't exist at all.
It's going to exist again
Trustee
because
Pearson told me once that he had something to do with putting them out as well.
he contributed when he was on my side. But since then, no. But there are going to be some signs. I ordered them this week.
Okay.
And they should have went out last month, but with all this other stuff going on and stuff. So, but anyway, with these cuts of department heads, I think some of the trustees that's promoting this fail to realize and are forgetting that I appoint the department heads. So as far as a senior public works person running the department, that's not going to happen. It's my appointment. And that's one thing they can't take away from me. Now you can cut the salary, whatever you want to do, but it's my appointment.
Okay. So then that answers a question that apparently Trustee Denton didn't know. If the mayor appoints.
He appoints it.
So somebody's not telling you the whole story. Because if in fact you were part of that budget, part of sitting down discussing it, then you should be able to answer every question.
And I answered
you
it
can't.
to the
No,
best
you
of my
didn't, because you
ability.
said it's my opinion or my thought or the way I was told.
Well,
But
what
you
more
should
would
know.
they base it on? I mean, if that's what was discussed and that was my understanding, that's all I can relate back to you.
Okay,
No,
so
I told and I shared what I knew, but I'm not going to argue back and forth. Thank
okay,
you.
I understand. So the other thing about that, so then the public works manager, is that a new title, or mayor? Is that your appointment?
Well,
Because
you know,
there's
I
a
think-
change in the salary.
I think the thought process was if we change it from public works superintendent to public works manager, we can't get sued for it being because that particular job was lined out. But from my understanding, it's just disguised is a manager, but it's the same thing that the public works superintendent will do. And they made a cut in the salary part, but it's still my appointment. So I'm going to appoint the manager.
Okay. All right. Well, I like to see that because, there's Matt Stacy and there's John Conway.
Yeah.
So, who do you end up with? And like I was saying about the media, your opinion, Trustee Denton, who will now handle the media center?
Outsource,
Outsource. Is there a plan for outsource already?
not to my knowledge.
So when will that be? When will that be done? After the fact, if in fact this occurs, will you look for someone after the whole thing is shut down?
My understanding is in the process.
And
but
who
no
does that?
definitely have been done.
Okay, so who's the one that's on that committee? Who's looking for the outsourced people for the media center?
I haven't.
Okay, so
So this is just another form of trying to cut the communication from the village. They cut out the newspaper. You know, everybody don't have smartphones. A lot of the seniors like to get the news the old-fashioned way, to get the newspaper. So that's been cut out of the budget, and every other thing that contributes or involves activity for the residents, whether it's activity for the residents or communication for the residents, has been cut out and cut short. So they don't want you to know. Keep you in the dark. Oh, the mayor ain't doing nothing, you know, because if you don't get the news and doing the things, and if you've watched Channel 4, you've seen so many things that we've done in this village, because I make sure that it gets out and shot gets out, and we go out and we want to try to bring to you what we do to what happens in the village, you know. So I mean, from street improvements, sidewalk improvements. They just did Lincoln. Some of you may notice at night there's some limited street lighting there, but they put markers down in the middle of the street, reflective markers, so you can see where you're going at night through the village. So, and those are the type of things we try to promote and let the residents know. But you're trying to cut our information system. So, go ahead, Elizabeth. I'm sorry, Pat, finish.
Yeah, okay.
Did you want to
So
say?
I respect your position, but as I mentioned the last time, you're a target now. So you're going to have to start to get prepared, because whenever I stop to think about something, I know it's a lot of folks that think about it. I think about stuff in my sleep, and it may not come out for a couple of weeks later, but I'm going to have a couple more questions for you. And I would like for you to say what you know to be true for a fact. And I'm going to ask you about that media center and who could potentially be running it. And I would certainly hope that you could give me an answer. I don't want to talk to Trustee Muhammad because I know his plan. Okay, so I know he knows, but I want to talk to Trustee Denton to make sure that she knows.
Well,
That's it.
Pat, you know that part of that cut that they put in place is for a clerk in the water department.
Right, yeah,
No.
and you know that could very well be me because I'm very vocal. But
Yeah.
hey, but I can tell you,
So-
I'm not the one.
So,
You know.
but
You know,
if that happens, then we're going to make the decision who's going to leave.
okay, all right, thank you.
April.
How's everybody doing today?
April.
Okay. Now, I find this very important. Here comes Ed Steve, right? Muhammad, Stubbs, Denton, and Pearson are going to fire him or kick him out of the budget. Okay. He's the head of the media center. They're going to get rid of him. And then after this public comment, because these 4 trustees are going to wipe out this entire administration, including Elizabeth Scott. But we're going to play that little clip again at the caucus. And we're going to see who's at that caucus. Do you want these same people running the township? That's my question to the chat.
April.
I noticed Trustee Denton. My name is Edward Steve. If you don't know.
Order, please.
I'm the media director who runs the media center. And Denton, you said they're going to outsource it. That's all him. That's all him. I want to remind people, being that my department's about to be independent contractor, I'm about to lose my insurance. So I have to get all my doc's appointments out the way, all my MS specialists out the way, because they're about to take that. You know I'm sick, and you won't vote with him because he's mad at me. All I'm saying is that he's playing y'all three. He's playing y'all. I got that side camera over there. He said you can see him telling Stubbs, "Oh, don't say this. Oh, no, say that." You can see all that, and y'all let this man play on y'all. So you gonna let him take my insurance and outsource it? He can't get down and do what I do. Believe me, I know. All he can do is try to find somebody that I possibly know, but they still can't get down and do what I do.
And I got to let him in the media center, so don't worry about it. I got the key.
To say that they're going to outsource it, that means you're listening to him, but he don't know nobody. And anybody he knows, I know. So they're going to come to me and say, "Hey, he's trying to get me this job to do your job." So you keep following that man, Pearson. Come on. You can't even look me in the eye knowing I need my insurance. And keep in mind, my MS is a progressive disease. So I just got some bad news where my MS is progressing.
Stress.
But I'm about to lose my insurance. And Pearson, you okay with that? You really okay with that? In the name of, because when Trustee Muhammad lost, he figured since I can't be married, I got to get 4 people with me so I can run things. And it's just disappointing, man. Good Lord. I can't believe you just said they don't outsource it. He had you read the media center resolution. You didn't know nothing about the media, but he used you because he couldn't do it. And y'all letting this play you like that. Trustee Tiffany Henry was smart enough to get off that boat and say, "Oh, I'm not going with that boat because that boat is sinking." I just said, come on, use your brain. Use us right. Knowing that you know my family, Pearson. But hey, let this man go ahead and he'll be out of office pretty soon. Then this man had a whole big speech, said, "Oh, this is not political," and took all the political jabs at the mayor. Talk about bankruptcy. He took all the political jabs and just said it's not political. Come on, you can't have it both ways. Either it's political or it's not. Take the emotion out of it. He's super angry. And he don't think people see this. He don't think people see how crazy that sounds. It's not political, and they take a bunch of political jabs. So, but God is in charge. I'll be straight. But he can't do what I can do in the media center. You got to get somebody who knows what they're doing in the media center and pay them.
And I'm gonna tell you this.
And have the codes to do it all.
And if you outsource,
ultimately you got to pay me.
Yeah. And if you outsource it, I can call Ed, Elizabeth, a number, Matt, a lot of these people that they want to get rid of. Sunday, midnight, 2:00 in the morning. They don't look at the clock at 5:00 when it's time to leave. They take away from their families their time. This weekend, I'm gonna give you.
I want to pause that. Ed Steve, keep that same energy. Because who are you hanging around with right now?
Is that a fact?
Huh?
Were you standing? With all those people, they started all that crap with me. You were standing right next to me.
I don't know about
you were
that.
standing right next to me.
No.
You're civil, right? You're civil. You're civil. Is that a
shit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I always forget to put the icon up. So here we are at the caucus. Okay. What they just did to Ed Steve.
With all those people, they decided, and they started all that crap with me. You were standing right next to me.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You were standing right next to me. If you wouldn't
Valeria Stubbs. Did you forget about this, Ed Steve? Valeria Stubbs running for trustee on the township.
No. Is that a
Dwayne Muhammad. And as I hear, Pearson was there too. They cut you from the budget, knowing that you needed your insurance for MS. They cut you. And the next live, we're going to see that too. But now you're all one big happy family. One big happy family. You, Muhammad, Stubbs, Pearson, all of you. And we just heard your speech. You need your insurance. They didn't give a shit. They didn't care. They cut you. What are you doing hanging around these people, Ed? One big happy family. That's what you are. Did you forget about that? And there was one person who said, we don't want no bobbleheads. And Ed, I got to ask you a question. I've asked this before. When was the last time that any of these people in a gathering such as this took photographs with you out in public? You had the nice picture, Clean House 2025. Ed, I'm sorry, but you are being used. You're being used. Don't forget what they did to you in 2018. They could have given two shits about you and your needs or your family's needs because you had just bought a house at that time with your family. You needed that insurance for your MS. Didn't care. Cut you. And that'll be in our next live. But now, you know, you got to be kidding me.
Give you a perfect example. This weekend, I asked them to help me do some things while they're off duty, off not working on it. And they left their families and got out there in the rain and helped me. And you don't find that in people today. You know, that's why what we do, what comes out of the mayor's office, all the communication comes out of the mayor's office, is because they do it regardless of how much time it takes to do it. And they do it with a smile. I have not one time in the 5 years I've been in office been rejected by these people and asked them when I ask them to do something that may concern a resident. We get a mercy call from a resident. Call Matt. I call Scott. And they go. Scott, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. Things happen here at the village. No heat. He's out here. And they want to get rid of Scott. Who do we call? ABC? Come on out here, ABC, and fix the heat over in the police department. And bring that $7,500 bill with you. And we get this stuff done on salaries. And for Ed, and with Ed, Ed thought he found a home here. And he believed in Dolton to come out here and buy a home in Dolton. You know, now you want to uproot this man's family?
Outsource. I can't believe
Because
that. It's outsource.
and then say it ain't political.
It's very political.
Ain't political, nothing personal.
And that second camera we already been in the communication to do that. But NBC man over there knows the camera's always rolling. So if you on the phone while somebody's talking, or if you in the camera back there in the mirror fixing your tie while somebody's talking,
Or you want to use a F?
that's on you.
If you want to use a four-letter word towards the mayor,
After mayor, he knows the camera's rolling. You should know that. He knows that.
Just remember, Edward, what God has for you, He is for you. No matter what.
I just have one more thing to say.
okay. All right, we're gonna cut.
I know you got to go.
Good. Yeah.
But
Put us. Yeah.
when you made this decision to do the cut, and you had the people that you want to replace them with, say for instance, Ed, you said source it out. Was Ed doing a good job?
Yes.
Was she, Mrs. Scott, doing the good? The ones that you want to let go, I'm going to ask you a flat question. Were they doing their job?
In this case,
Answer me. Were they doing their job excellently?
in this,
If you employee, I'm a supervisor. If employee is not doing a good job, he does not get a good rating. He knows he's got to step up his game. Were they doing a good job? What are you going to replace them with? You're going to source it out? You're a new kid on the block. How do you rate him? You're a new kid on the block. You cannot do it because you do not know his work ethic and his work.
Barbara, give him a
You
chance to
cannot
answer.
do it.
Give him a chance to answer, Barbara.
Pardon me?
Give him a chance to answer.
You cannot do it when you only, how long have you been in office? You cannot say he has not done his job well and I will source it out. You cannot do it.
Barbara, give him a chance to answer.
Miss Barbara.
Miss Trustee Denton.
Miss Barbara,
Yes.
you giving me a whooping, and I'm gonna respect you, but I'm not gonna argue with you.
I'm not arguing.
Okay,
I'm just
so-
trying to make a point.
Okay,
I'm
your point-
not arguing. I'm just trying to make a point. That's all I'm
And I
trying to
respect
do.
you for making a point, but your point has been made. All of the citizens that have gotten up and berated me for whatever reason, I just jump on Denton night. I don't know. Your point has been made. It's been heard. It's been received. I hear you. I understand you. But get off of Denton tonight, please. Y'all on me. Okay, I'm taking my punishment. I'm taking my whooping tonight. But
But
okay.
you go along with the
I did not
program.
turn on. See, you want to argue. I'm not gonna argue. I'm not.
Okay.
I don't do that.
This man he's the news media. Show me where he does his job.
Barbara.
Show
Okay.
it.
All right. We're gonna cut that off. All right. It's not about job performance.
That's what it's supposed to be about.
Yeah, but it's not about job
When
performance.
you
These
cut
cuts.
somebody, it must be about job performance.
Yeah. Not here. It's political.
That's all.
All right.
That's
Go
all
ahead.
I'm
Elizabeth
asking.
wanted to
That's
say
all I'm
something
saying.
real quick.
Why do you the majority go along with it if it's not about job performance?
Politics. Politics gets dirty sometimes. More times than none. All right, Elizabeth wanted
I
to say
just
something.
quickly
Barbara.
wanted to add something. Everyone here talked about day-to-day operations and how are we going to get snow plowed and everything, but nobody has figured into the long-term projects. There's several long-term projects on the table that some of us have been working on that are now going to be tabled indefinitely. Things that are very time sensitive, like the flooding going on in the community. Has anyone inquired as to any of the trustees and what they're doing for flooding implementation? I have several projects on the table, one of which Ron Smith Robinson Engineering assisted in drafting, which addresses green infrastructure. Another one, which the day after, or actually we found out we were awarded the day that we were lined out, was a $600,000 award given by Tony Preckwinkle for a Dalton freight study. I would be interested to know if any of the trustees know what WA11 stands for and how we received the $600,000. That was a study that that I spearheaded along with Matt Stacy, Ron Smith from Robinson Engineering. And when people talk about us working with other mayors in various communities to get things done, that was a project that we worked on in conjunction with mayors in adjacent municipalities, and it has to do with EMS services and overpasses being built, and how we're trying to resolve and put in quiet zones. So I would like to know if anyone's asked any of the trustees if they know what WA11 is, why we were awarded the $600,000, what's going on from there. I also have other projects that I'm working on to address the larger part of the east side of Dolton for flooding, something that I've been dealing with, and I implemented the Rain Ready Steering Committee. That wasn't just for fun or for show. I worked with U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. I've worked with Morton Arboretum, the forestry, urban forestry, and we actually have also implemented with Ball State University and some other universities doing studies with the tree canopy. And I'll bet you there's not one of those trustees that could tell you anything about any of that data that we collected. And I'm working towards a larger goal because it's something that the mayor wants to change long after we're gone. Everybody's sitting up here, things that are going to affect this community 20 years from now, 15 years from now. So it's not just the day-to-day operations that you all need to be aware of. It's projects that are on the table. We also have something coming up in November where the mayor is partnering, spearheading that also, to deal with addressing different issues in the community with business workshops. And we're partnering with several mayors in that, with including Mayor Wells, Mayor Polk, and I don't even know if they even know where those mayors, what mayors that they reside over, which municipalities. But there's long-term projects that are now going to fall through. And at the end of the day, it's the residents that are going to take the hit. So that's important also to keep in mind. It's not just the day-to-day projects. There are long-term projects that are on the table that are going to suffer as a result of some of us being gone. Thank you.
Yeah. This board is just going to wipe out this administration, and they say it's not political. Ed Steve, you're on the chopping block. Elizabeth Scott, who does everything. Yeah. I think Stubbs left the meeting because she couldn't take the heat from the residents. But I do have a question. You know, why did Henyard let her go? Because they hired Elizabeth Scott back after Stubbs and Muhammad and Pearson got kicked out after their one-term disaster. And they want to get back into the Thornton Township. Brandon, so good to see you. So I have a question. Why did Tiffany Henyard let Elizabeth Scott go, of all people? I have a theory. Would you like to hear it? Would you like to hear my theory on why Henyard let Elizabeth Scott go? My theory is she's the smartest person in the room. That's my opinion. Yeah. She was too smart. She doesn't go to get along. But Ed Steve, this board, Muhammad, Stubbs, Denton, and Pearson, 3 of which are humming around the caucus to get Stubbs in as trustee in the township. Yeah, they rehired her when the new board came in. And the new board had Steve, Tammy Brown, Andrew Holmes. So I think Tiffany did not want, my opinion, Elizabeth Scott there, because Elizabeth Scott knows what the hell she's doing. Knows exactly what she's doing. Yeah. So I think she's the smartest person in the room. I don't know where Elizabeth Scott is today, but I congratulate her. This woman would go out 3 o'clock in the morning if she got a call to help the residents. And, you know, at the caucus, they had a couple 100 people in that room. However, how many people live in the township? You think this is going to be an easy ride? And Ed Steve, I have it on tape, on video. Someone saying they don't want no bobbleheads. And you would know exactly what that means, don't you? Ah, does she? Welcome, BSN. I had a thing going on with the delivery for cheesecake. I guess the roads are really bad and I didn't know it, so I felt so bad. I felt so bad. I gave the guy a $50 tip. I felt so bad. Oh my God. I felt so bad for that man. He delivered, but God, the roads are bad. No, 2 different people altogether. Yeah, potato. Bobblehead. We don't want no bobbleheads. And Ed, these people cut you, and you needed that insurance for your MS. They didn't give a shit. They didn't care. Muhammad, Stubbs, Denton, and Pearson. So let's remind you, Ed.
Fact? Is that a fact?
Let's remind Ed of who he is hanging around with at the caucus.
With all those people, they started all that crap with me. You were standing right next to me.
I don't know that about
You were
that.
standing right next to me.
There's Stubbs running for trustee of the township. She cut you. She didn't give a shit if you needed insurance.
No.
And there's Dwayne Muhammad. He didn't give a shit about your insurance either. Did he? Nope, but here you are. Kumbaya. Part of the Glee Club. When's the last time you had a community photograph with these people? Brittany Norwood is photographing anybody. Did she walk up to you with her camera to photograph you? Brandon, welcome. I had a little issue with my cheesecake delivery, so I missed a whole bunch of chats, and I'm sorry. Yeah, over and over and over and over and over. These are the people that want to run the township. And what did they do for Dolton? And I don't care what anybody says. Does Tiffany need to go? Well, I think everybody can agree on that. But who are they getting to replace him? Is Jason House best for mayor? You know, is he best for mayor? I'll wait. It can't be Henyard. That could be a problem, BSN. Why is the Kasperk Group donating to the Friends of Tiffany Henyard's political campaign? I have showed proof of that. So why? Mouse Toes, you're safe again. All your buddies. Yeah. Why is Kasperk in 2023 donating to the Friends of Tiffany Henyard when they are on the warrant lists? And those aren't the only ones on the warrant lists of political campaigns. Mouse Toes. Yeah, Lola, I'd have to agree. I'd have to agree. I worry about Jason. I truly do. He's very passive. You know, but what these 4 trustees did to Dolton in 4 years, and should there be term limits and have it 2 years for trustees? Should trustees have 2-year limits instead of 4? Because we know what these 4 did to Dolton as they were trustees. Terrible, terrible things. And I don't care if they know what I'm saying or not. Yeah, I'm afraid of that, Potato. I am. I really am. But Henyard has to go. She's got to go. Right? I mean, yeah, the trustees, they have a 4-year term and a 2-term limit. But that 4 years can create havoc. Yeah. We all know the game, right? Oh, yeah. Yep. Yep. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it because this is my opinion. Belcher is a piranha. A lot of people love Belcher. She comes with the receipts. But you have to remember in 2020, her and Henyard, with their little shenanigans, questioning candidates. Why would Belcher, who is running for trustee, object to mayoral candidates in 2020? Because a lawyer said they walked into the building together, her and Henyard. You know, you can't make this up. I've shown proof of it. And I know what flip-flopping is now. I finally figured it out. If you say something against the trustees, and then you say something about Henyard, you're flip-flopping. That's not accurate. Not on this channel, anyways. It's not flip-flopping. Because here we hold all, A-L-L, all elected officials responsible. They have taken an oath of office to every resident, not just the residents in the Glee Club. Oh, she most certainly does, Wyoming. Well, she tried to get into Cook County, remember? Yeah, she tried to get into Cook County. And let's reform the South. Reform the South. But good news is on the way for tomorrow, isn't it? All of a sudden, hostages are being released. All of a sudden, there's a peace treaty going on in Gaza to end the horrific things going on. And Holman is coming personally to Chicago. I have said it for a couple months now. There will be a red wave going across America, and you can see it in the world. And Illinois, you are not safe. All of your little bullshit tactics. And I don't care who hears me say it. I don't flip-flop. I hold elected officials accountable. And if you do something that's wrong, I'm going to put it on this channel. Because most of my listeners and subscribers are residents of Dolton and the Thornton Township. And they're going to know every little secret. Shadow Seeker, so good to see you. Francois. Yes, she did. Remember that? Remember that? Oh, yes. California. Wyoming, I am so sorry. You are in my thoughts and prayers. Dirty dealings. And the next slide, we're going to go through that administrative wipeout that those 4 trustees did. And now they're trying to get into the township. BP Stubbs. I don't mind calling you BP Stubbs, because you know exactly what I mean. And so does Fathers and Blessings. He has a lot of things to say about you. Anyways, this has been a educational live. I didn't expect to come live tonight, but I thought, what the heck, you know. These officials need to be held accountable. They're not celebrities. They're just not. They think they are. And all the people. Now, there's something else coming up this week. Hold on. I'm going to laugh my ass off. Hold on. There is something else coming down the pike this week that is going to shock the ever-living poop out of everybody. Yes, my cheesecake has arrived. Something else is coming down the pike this week, and I'm not going to say what it is because it's going to be a very, very big surprise, and there's going to be a lot of people affected. Be careful what you say. Be careful what you do. Now, I emailed Instran. I gave him the peace treaty. I did. Because some people are just very misguided. So I did that. Oh, Cynthia, you know what's coming. I'm so happy, Wyoming. Very happy. Yeah. Terrible thing going on there. Cynthia. Do I have to email you? I'll give you an email and let you know. I'm not going to say it on this live because, everybody screenshots, records, and takes every word that you say and twists it and whatever. Yeah, potato, you know. That's my devious laugh everyone likes. Anyways, Ed Steve, they don't want any bobbleheads. They won't take pictures of you in public. I haven't seen one. You do all these interviews on your channel, Dolton Trustees. That is your channel, isn't it? Am I wrong about that? You might want to think about that channel too. Yeah. Doing all these interviews, wonderful, part of the Glee Club. They're using you. You might not think it right now. You might not believe it, and I'm sorry. Here we tell the truth. Here we give evidence. Real evidence. Not just say so, not just hearsay, but facts and figures. Oh. I just finished the playlist for the financial reports for 2021. So you can see that on the channel as well. Oh yes, Mouse Toe. And you're safe again. You're safe again. No, Wyoming. They don't. But I did give grace against the advice of law enforcement. And that's where I'll leave that one. Well, Wyoming, you'll have to email me. Aw, mouse toes. Sorry. Anyways, this has been very educational, and people are going to be waking up rapidly, very rapidly. Yeah, if we gave the hints, then the bag would be out, right? Mouse toes, email me. I'll let you know. Yeah, another brain family member. What the hell is bird brain and fish brain? Don't they know that birds eat fish? Oh. We have an eagle's nest right up the road from us. Maybe I'll post some photographs. It's amazing. They fly over the lakes and get their fish. And when will we know? Oh, we should be knowing in a couple of days. Yeah, they are mouse toes. Yep. It's so incredible. Actually, there's a couple of nests. One is up the road and one is a couple of miles away. Oh. Yeah. But, yep. Okay. Oh. It was cool. Yeah. But that's what they do, don't they? They come in all, nice and then they go, ha, I'm in. And then they run back to their little groups and go, ha, 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 ha. But the thing is, we laugh at them. No? Oops. Potato is our community comedian, isn't he? He really is. We love Potato. And I love all of you. And maybe I'll snap a few pictures of the eagles. Amazing birds. Amazing. No wonder they're our national bird. But yes, tomorrow's a big day. Lots of things happening already. He's not even in office. Homan is coming to Chicago to clean up that wretched mess with the violent immigrants that were just let in and not even vetted. Oh, no way. No, mouse toes, no. They're way up in the trees. Way. That's all you do is see sky and trees. So it's safe. Yeah. I don't know. Anyways, oh yeah, hit the like, subscribe. Is there something else I'm supposed to say, Cynthia? I'm not sure. I don't remember this stuff. I don't do this channel for the money. $270 just won't cut it, will it? For a month? No, it won't. But anyways, Ed, please look at your surroundings. That's all I can say to you. You're not going to take that advice. You're just not. You think you're with the in crowd. And it's going to be 2018 all over again for you. I'm sorry to say. But be careful of that channel. Thank you very much, Potato. Share the stream. I don't know how to do that, but okay. Anyways, thank you all. Have a wonderful Sunday evening. I am going to go eat my cheesecake that has arrived. Yay! I wanted that cheesecake so bad. Yes. Well, he was a trustee. 2019, he came in as a trustee. He was a one-term trustee as well. But he was Roger's man, We really love this chat, don't we? We really have. We have a lot of fun. And I appreciate each and every one of you, all of the subscribers, all of the viewers. Here we produce facts in black and white, not hearsay, not gossip. We don't do that here. Now I want some cheesecake. I know, I can't wait for it. Yeah. Yep, bobblehead. But she's not the only one using that term nowadays. And I have video of that as well. It's sad. It's sad. You got to feel bad, right? Yeah, right, Wyoming. I don't make any money on this channel. I mean, oh my gosh. But the purpose of this channel is to give the evidence, actual evidence, not hearsay, not gossip. Oh my gosh, this and that. And yeah, we don't do that here. That's not our thing. Yeah, I did. I had 2 mouse toes. I didn't know the roads were that bad. I really didn't. And I felt really bad for the guy, I really did. So, you pay for the service that you get, right? Well, that's what I believe. But I know my mother's downstairs eating that cheesecake. Yes, mouse toes. It's insanity. What are these channels going to cover when Henyard gets out? What are they going to do? What's their content going to be? That's going to be the real question, right? Couple more months. What are they going to cover when Henyard is gone? I know what this channel is going to cover because we hold all elected officials accountable. We won't go away. Well, people don't like us anyways. But I did finish up that playlist on the financial reports for 2021. And this week I'm going to start on the warrant list for 2021. So we can actually see. One side says one thing, another side says another thing. We don't see any proof of anything. Everybody's going to say, oh, Belcher shows all the receipts and, okay, well, we show the real receipts. Yeah. Her inauguration was insane. And $50,000 to rent a Christmas? Are you kidding? Yeah, and the commingling, right, of funds. Surf and turf for staff lunches. And what employees went along with that and ate off the fat of the lamb? They didn't have a problem with that, did they? No. We have evidence of that too. Yeah. They are drowning in debt. But anyways, I have got to get downstairs before my mother eats the entire cheesecake. Because I know she will. I love each and every one of you. Thank you so very much for hanging around, listening to my voice, listening to Muhammad go on and on and on and on and on. Ugh. Our next live will cover all of these people that they are going to get rid of. Yes, Potato. Say hello to Mrs. Potato. And yes, thank you, mods. They are Johnny on the spots. Okay. Love you. Have a great night. And let me see, where is my outro? Okay. Bye.